live. Welcome everybody. Hope you guys are all doing well today. In today's video, we are going to be talking about, yes, you guys have guessed it, swing trading stocks. We're going to be talking about how to grow account realistically. None of this get rich quick stuff, all about base hits. What that means is that 1, 2, 3% return compounded is where you're gonna make money. At least for me and my approach, I'm not somebody that's gonna say, okay, you can buy a stock at $1 and sell it at $100. No, my approach is very, very simple, using basic indicators, basic trend lines to determine if you should buy a position. So guys, I hope you guys all enjoyed this. If you guys do, hit that like button and subscribe. And very, very exciting news, we have a back to school day sale for our amazing swing trading school where I teach people how to find these stocks, my strategies, my approach, everything. So check it out, and you guys can use code SCHOOL for 50% off. 50% off, only a couple of spots left. And guys, check that out. It's awesome. We got private live streams, quizzes, lectures, group chat, everything. If you want to take swing trading serious, honestly, check it out. You won't regret it. And let's dive into this here. So welcome everybody. And if you guys are watching, make sure you guys help me hit our subscriber goal. I'm very, very excited about that. That's going to be awesome once we hit that. We are 1.9% there. So we still got some room to go. But let me make sure we are good. And if we are, we'll get going here. I just want to make sure we are moving and grooving and everybody is in and all of that stuff, and it looks like we are good. So welcome everybody. And yeah, all right, so let's jump into this here. So how do you swing trade? That's a very, very common question. Honestly, probably the most common question I get asked is how do you trade? And so for me, I love checklists. I love just a basic checklist to determine if I should buy a position. So this is why I preach it every single day, but having a trading journal is so incredibly important. And the reason why is because you can literally make sure, I just want to make sure we are good. Yeah, so you can literally make sure you're always choosing stocks that meet your strategy. You're not just buying random stocks and random companies. You're buying companies that follow your plan. So I'll put it in the chat, but I use this basic trading journal you guys can get right on Amazon. I actually custom made it for swing trading, so I put it down below. But guys, all right, so for the checklist, finding a stock on an upward trend is the first thing. I always imagine the trend of the stock is like a river. It's a lot easier to swim downstream than upstream. When you swim upstream, it's very, very hard to do so. Now, the next thing on my checklist is the stock on a support line? So a support line could be a variety of things. It could be a certain price. It could be a certain indicator. With ticker symbol BJ, this one here was trading on the 90-day moving average line. That's that blue line here. So that's a support line. So you guys can see in the past it's hit it and we got good buying pressure. Hit it, so we had good indication where we could possibly get some good buying pressure out of it. Okay. The next thing is, what's the RSI? The RSI, for me, I like anything under a 30. Right here it was trading for a 29, which is really good. The next thing is the earnings. So how to find earnings, very, very simple. You go to the quotes tab and then you pretty much go to the quotes, scroll down. 8/22/24 is the pre-market earnings release. So for me, I never want to trade during an earnings. It's a 50-50 chance of making money. So I'll most likely get out of this position either today or most likely tomorrow. But the reason why, like I said, it's a 50-50 chance of making money. You guys can see in here where they announced the earnings and the stock went from 81 to about 86, which is great. But as you look at it, you guys can see this earnings where the stock went from 78 to 72. Right here, the stock went from 71 to 63. So pretty much holding during an earnings is a 50-50 chance of making money. So I try not to hold during earnings. I find it very, very risky as a trader. The next thing is risk and reward. So for me, risk and reward is very, very important because a lot of people get this mixed up and they think risk management is all about making money, right? Okay, I'm trying to make money. No, risk management is actually preserving money. That's what it is. So how to find out? I use Moomoo for my broker for everybody that asks. But Moomoo, they offer this really cool trading feature called long position. So you can click it, and what it does is it breaks down your risk and reward ratio. So you can plan out your trade. So if you enter here, set your stops just below it and your target price up here, it's about a 3-to-1 risk and reward, which is actually relatively decent. We always try to look for like a 2-to-1, 3-to-1. Obviously, the higher up you go, the better off you are. So that's the next thing on the checklist. The next thing and the last thing is going to a lower time frame and trying to find some sort of breakout, some sort of support. So you guys can see with ticker symbol BJ, it just sold off down here. And you guys can see it broke out, and this is where we entered. We entered near and around, this. It actually curled, and we got it in on the second day, but we got in near and around this 85 area. The stock has moved up a little bit to 87, so we're still up about $2 a share, which is really good. But having a very simple checklist that you can go through and determine if you should buy a position, I'm telling you, is what's going to separate you as a successful trader. You won't regret it, because you'll always choose stocks that meet your strategy. There'll never be a time where you hop in on a position and you're like, oh my gosh, why did I buy the stock? The only reason you'd ever hop in on a position is if you didn't follow your checklist. So you have no excuse if you lose money. So let's go through with some of the positions that we're holding. We haven't taken, actually the last trade we took was on BJ. The rest of them was positions that we've been holding actually for a decent time. Let me make sure we are good. And if we are good, make sure you guys hit that like button. And if you guys, make sure you guys hit that like button. And if you guys are new, make sure you guys subscribe, because then we can actually see your name pop up. And it's actually kind of cool. So make sure you guys subscribe and help me get that subscriber goal. So let's talk about some of the stocks we're in on, some of our positions here. So we took a trade on Microsoft. You guys can see that looking at the daily, very similar thing, right? Stock on an upward trend, sold off down to the red line. Now, the red line is different than the blue. The red line is the 200-day moving average line. You guys can see it hit it. We had that great move. It's hit it in the past, and we've gotten good buying pressure there. So moving average lines, they act as basic support and resistance. So when the stock is below it, you guys can see it hits it and we get sell off. So, obviously you want to try to buy the stock when it's above the trend lines and on that trend with an undervalued RSI and just doing that checklist. It's a very simple way to make sure you're going to enter a position and it's not just going to continue to sell off. Another stock that we took a trade on was Meta. Obviously Meta, Facebook, all that. So now Meta here was a little bit of a different approach, similar, but you guys can see that it does have that upward trend. It was trading for a 30 on the RSI, but the hourly chart found some really nice support, and that's where we entered here. So somebody said, what do you think about DNN? Let's pull it up. So DNN here, looking at the hourly, you guys can see what I mean by using resistance or using moving average lines as resistance, right? It sold off down below it, hit it, and now it's finally starting to rally its way up. It does look like we're forming a decent trend like such. So if you entered at 150, so normally any stock under $1 or under $5 is gonna be a little more volatile. What that means is you're gonna be your account could swing a little more. Stocks under that $5 mark have just a little more volatility. So with this play here, the stock's trading for $1.57. So if you entered there, you're hoping for the breakout of the 200. I would set my stops relatively tight. Because of the type of stock you're trading, I probably would keep it below like the 140 range. Well, that's a 9%, 8. let's go about 150, a hair below 150. And one thing too is like whole dollars and half dollars. So $1.50, $1, those are going to act as a little bit of a harder support, a little harder resistance. And the reason why is because people are more likely to set their stop losses there, to take to enter position there. So if you entered here, I would see if we could get a push up to at least up here at like 190. So the risk and reward is there. Let's go look at the daily chart. So you guys can see it sold off down due to earnings. It's below these moving average lines, and it does actually look like it could be forming a little trend going in this direction. So if you entered here, I would just pretty much keep my stop loss below it. Welcome, Mitch. Welcome. Hope you are doing well. I am doing fantastic, and thanks for coming in. But you guys can see it does look like it could be forming this little trend right here. And so if you entered here, I'll just keep my stop relatively tight with this one. Just because it's under $1 or under $2, it's a little more risky, a little more volatile. Let's look at the next one here. Ticker symbol PCT. PCT, let's go ahead and pull it up. PCT. So you guys can see it does have, a decent, wait, let me remove that. It does look like it possibly does have a new trend like such. So something like that. So if you entered at pretty much 569, the only issue is the RSI is at a 35. So obviously you want it under 30, but if you entered there, I would set my stop below that, some of these lower wicks here. So about here, or probably about here. See if we can get a push up to highs. So something like that is the approach I would have. You do have to understand you do have, a short-term upward trend, but a long-term downward trend, as you can see these moving average lines. So, I would just, if you enter, take your profit a little sooner and keep your stops a little tighter, because right now sellers are in control. Even though you have that nice upward trend, you still technically have that down. So that's my thought on that. If you enter there, stop, target, early stop loss, early profit, stuff like that. So what else? Oh yeah, so obviously I think we were talking about Meta. So Meta stock here sold off, obviously down, found heavy support here. This was just a textbook play right on the hourly, popped up due to good earnings, sold off just due to the general market, and the stock rallied up, right? It's up pretty handsomely right now. Let's do percentage wise. It's up about 17%, which is really good. So I'll take that any day of the week. We're in on Google. Google is breaking out of the 200-day moving average line. All that stuff had heavy support, down here. You guys can see on the daily, hit that 200-day moving average line. It hasn't sold off down below the 200-day moving average line since early 2023. So that's a good indication of getting good buying pressure and all that stuff. We're in on Costco, textbook play on the 90-day moving average line. Most of these are just positions I'm already in on, or I'm in on. This one here, Amazon, was just a basic trend line play. As you guys can see, it was undervalued on the RSI. Let's remove this so you guys can see it a little clearer, like such here. Boom, boom. Which is really, really cool. So welcome everybody. Hope you guys are all doing well. And if you guys are watching, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe. All of that stuff really, really helps me out. And what's cool about it is that when you subscribe, your name should pop up here and it should change our subscriber goals. So if you guys are watching, make sure you guys subscribe. All right. So you guys can see we're up pretty handsomely today, right? Most of our positions are in the green, which is always good. And then as far as it goes with stocks with opportunity, we got QNST here, sold off down a little bit today. It has this nice trend. We're obviously looking to see if we can tap it and get that move going forward. looking at the hourly here, we're looking to find some sort of support or some sort of breakout. And you guys can see it's just kind of selling off a little bit down below these moving average lines. So, I also think it could have some decent support, around 17 to 1640 in that range. So we'll see what happens. I definitely want to keep on watch. Then we also have OLMA, has heavy support here, as you guys can see. Could be a nice move going forward. This could be a good trade if you entered at 11, see if you can get a push up to 12, 1270. Might not seem like a big return, but those 1, 2, this is still 9%. So if you entered there, tight stop, get a nice move going forward. Could be a good play all day. Then we got MMS here, finally breaking out above the 200-day moving average line, which is really, really nice here to see. So then we got MCK. MCK found that nice support here on the hourly. Hopefully we can get that good buying pressure going up to get that breakout. Sold off just due to some bad earnings, And the thing about investing and money and stocks in general is often any action in the market is often an overreaction. So, sell off here, look at what was that stock? Meta. Meta stock sold off, little overreaction, stock rallied its way up. So, we got INFY. This is one of the stocks here that honestly, I did have a little FOMO because I had very, very good indication of getting buying pressure. This thing followed our strategy completely, but when you're in on a position, or when I'm holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positions, we all just have limited amount of money, and that's the reality of it. And what I always pretty much do is in situations like this, I just pretend to trade it. So I get my handy dandy journal, I write down my entry, and position size, all that risk and reward and setup and stop. So make sure you guys check out these, the journal. I'm sure most of you guys have them. They're literally awesome. They're really, really cool. And for all of you watching, don't forget you guys can use code SCHOOL for 50% off our school, where I teach you guys how to find these stocks. But getting back to this stock here, obviously looking at the chart here, you guys can see, let's see here. INFY here got great buying pressure, sold off a little bit, was trading a little high on the RSI, but I really, really liked the breakout of this. It had a, this here's the death cross where it the lower moving average line breaks down through the higher. That's the indication to sell, and then the indication to buy. So, the stock's moving and doing really, really well now. Then we got GH, kind of just selling off below these moving average lines. Hasn't really done much. Could possibly get some support at 27. Possibly gonna get a good move if we can get some buying pressure above these moving average lines. GFI, you guys can see pretty much just broke out of the trend, which is really good. You guys can see that parallel trend opened up higher, tapped that moving average line. The best entry would have been here or the tap here, just on the textbook breakouts. We could possibly still get buying pressure out of this because the golden cross just happened. So that's always good too. Another stock here that people were looking at was ticker symbol FUN. FUN, this one here is above the moving average lines. We're hopefully where we can get a golden cross. That would be really, really good. A really good bullish thing for the stock. You guys can see though, looking at this, it's one of these stocks here where it does consolidate on these moving average lines for a minute before getting good buying pressure out of it. You guys can see it pretty much just hovered here for quite some time, where we had, just basic, resistance, basic support. So given right now, I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen, where we do get, basic support and basic resistance. So you could try to trade. The margin's not much there, but yeah, something to something to take note of for sure. So welcome everybody. It does look like we are at 10 people watching, so I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. It looks like maybe 11 coming in, which is awesome. So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. But yeah, another play here is ticker symbol AVDL. You guys can see it just looking at like the daily, just has that nice trend line, seeing if we can get some sell off, like the 15, pretty much like the 15-11 area. We'll throw an alert here. And this is the thing about swing trading and trading in general, is it's always better to be prepared, right? So what that means is if we get sell off, boom, we can enter here, set stops tight. We have that good trend line. It's also on a moving average line. The RSI will be lower, so we would have good indication of gonna get some good buying pressure out of it. So, all that stuff is really, really awesome, and I'm excited. But guys, any last questions for me? We kind of went through all the stocks I want to talk about, positions we're in on, all of that. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Make sure you guys ask some last questions. Don't forget, you guys can use code SCHOOL, 50% off the school, where I teach you guys how to find these plays, the scanners, the approach, how to enter, and all that. So check that out. Code SCHOOL, 50% off. And don't forget to get your handy dandy journal. Now, I always mention a journal. I have one I made on Amazon, but in the reality, you don't need it, right? I've seen several successful traders use a 99-cent journal. The biggest thing though, this just keeps you organized. So, make sure you guys check out them. They're right on Amazon. And all that. So any last questions for me before we end it here? I'm very, very excited. Let's see what the general market is for the last couple of people coming in. Pretty mixed day, I would say, in the market. A little sell-off here. You guys can see Nvidia's down. Some other companies, the whole energy sector is getting crushed. So one of the things here that I do want to show you is looking at, where are we at? Looking at the groups tab. This is how you guys can find good opportunity here, is looking at possible reversals. So like you guys can see, or sectors to invest in, I should say. You guys can see that right now there could be a move on healthcare. Healthcare stocks are up. You guys can see in the past week, technology. You guys can see month, utilities. So look at sectors that are performing well, and you always can change it in your scanner and in your screener to seek out those plays. So make sure you guys check that out. But yeah, guys, we'll end it here. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll end it here. Hope you guys have a good one.